Now I'll do this. I should have done this before I got started. Okay. All right, it's pulling up the syllabus, and before yesterday, I wasn't sure the class was going to make, so I don't have the syllabus updated yet. But I'll tell you things that will be on it, updated from it. But I've got a syllabus out there, and most of the core stuff is there. It's good. It's just the peripheral stuff will be changed. And I'll get to it if this will ever open. Now, I do have one more thing I want to open first, and like I said, I should have done this before I started the recording, because this is very exciting to watch. Okay. I would start talking about this. Well, I guess it did open. No, it hasn't opened yet. Well, if we have trouble opening that, I'll come back and open it later. All right, here's the syllabus. Not quite up to date. I don't know why it's not advancing. Here we go. Well, the other file is not opening. That's probably why this one's not doing well. Here we go. All right. This is Math 113 Pre-Calculus Trig. Everybody in the right class, right? Good deal. Okay. It's a software and Blackboard supported course. Okay, we'll talk about that maybe a little later. 3-credit hour course. And we do meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. These times are wrong, okay? Because some of you were here at Lawson last year, right? Yay? No? Yeah, okay. You know we always started classes at 8, and then this class started at 9:30. Well, this year, they decided to move it back 30 minutes. So the first class is at 8:30, and then this one starts at 10. So I'll get those times correct, okay? It'll be 10 to 11:15 Tuesday and Thursday. We're on Bachelor Campus, room 255. That's where we are now. Now, for those of you who have been in my classes before, only one of you, you usually know that I teach in this room. And I just finished teaching the Math 112 class, and I said this earlier, but not everybody was here. This room holds 30 students, and with that table and 2 chairs, 32, we had 38 enrolled, 36, or something like that. We couldn't fit them all in here. So I had to move down the hall in room 205, meaning I had to carry my computer and carry all the stacks of stuff. So at least until, I don't want to say it this way, but until that class gets smaller than 36 students, down to 30 students, I guess we'll be down there, which I hope will be until the end of the term. But we do have some attrition sometimes. So anyway, normally I'd be in here set up and ready to go, because the PowerPoint, I use the same thing, just change chapters and stuff like that, because it's the same book. But now I'm going to have to be moving everything. So I might be a little, I got 15 minutes to get it all moved, and today was awful because every time I'm out in the hall, I'm helping people find other rooms and stuff like this. First day of class is like that. But hopefully from now on, it'll get a little bit better, and hopefully I'll be here by 10 o'clock every time. But if not, I'm coming. I'm just coming from right down the hall. Okay, my name is Charles Fowler. My office is room 265. Let me show you where that is on this little building diagram here. This is us in this corner classroom right here. Go out Monday through Thursday, that's my office. On Fridays, most Fridays, I'm on the Birmingham West Campus. Okay? Birmingham West Campus, are y'all familiar with that at all? Okay. You know, the West Campus is a quad in the middle. You know, 4 buildings make sort of a rectangle. Okay? The A building is the administration building. The B building is the academic building. That's the building I'm in. This is toward the ACAT building and the student center. This ends toward the gym and the fine arts hall, you know, and tennis courts and baseball field. That end of the building, you know, there's a floor that's half down and one that's half up, okay? If you go half up, at that end, when you get to that top step right there, that's room B122. Academic 122. You need to know, ask anybody where Dr. Pruitt's office is. Everybody knows Dr. Pruitt. And he's in a suite of offices. When you first go in the door, B122, his secretary's desk is right in front of you. His office is the big corner office there. Behind the secretary's desk, there's a copy room. That's my office on Fridays, okay? And that's where you'll find it, okay? Most Fridays, okay? My phone number here on the Bessemer campus is 929-3449. But let me make a request of you, okay? Only call me during my office hours, and these are not correct. I'll tell you what the office hours are in a minute. Like I said, I don't have this updated. Because, and I'll go into this a little bit. Sorry I have to, but I have a mild form of leukemia, so I have to take treatments for it. And this latest drug that they got me on has been fantastic as far as knocking out the bad cells, the B cell malignancy. And I mean, it is wiped them slick, okay? But unfortunately, it's also knocked down, not wiped them out, but knocked down my red blood cell count. So I'm anemic and hematocrits are low hemoglobin. And it's knocked down my platelets, so my platelets are low. And the other white cells are low, okay? In fact, really low. And one of those are called neutrophils. The neutrophils are what fight diseases, okay? And to be low neutrophils is anything below 1,500 per milliliter or whatever they measure by. And then you're considered neutropenic. You're supposed to be above that. Before my last treatment on the 3rd of August, they do blood work first and then they give me the treatment. Before my last treatment, my neutrophils were 110, okay? Supposed to be something greater than 1,500. Mine were 110. They held off the treatment. They didn't think they should give me the treatment. I didn't think they should give me the treatment with them that low. But they got in touch with some doctors and I'd go and give them the treatment. So they did. And that knocked them even lower. Well, the next week I caught a cold. And fortunately, ever since I've been on this drug, I hadn't had a cold. But they gave me some antibiotics before, back in the summer when they were low, like 1,000. And they gave me and they said, if you get any symptoms, start taking the antibiotics. Well, I hadn't had a cold, so I still had the antibiotics. So I started taking, symptoms went away, things went much better. But because they were so low, they called me in the next Tuesday to start me on the neutrophil booster shot. And also, well, that was the main reason. And so I went on, well, long story there. The drug company that was supposed to supply the shots took more than 2 weeks to call and say, okay, we're ready to deliver. Where's your phone? You know the name of the company? Express Scripts. I said, you need to change your name. Okay, nothing express about this. I'm sorry, that's off on the side. Okay, so we went out of town. They were supposed to deliver out of town. They never called. But anyway, we came back, and the Monday that we came back, I started getting another cold, a different kind of cold, and it was far worse feeling. And they brought me in again and gave me another booster for the neutrophils, and they found out their pharmacy could provide the next 4 shots, so I got those. And they put me on a very strong antibiotic. But last week, I was out. I mean, I was no energy whatsoever, headache, sore throat. I mean, I was, and I shouldn't have been, so I couldn't come to work at all last week. at all. I mean, we had worked 4 days, I couldn't be here anymore. I never missed 4 days in a row, I don't think, ever. And, but I did last week. Still not 100%, but I'm feeling much better than I was. I was so afraid it was my disease, not the cold, but the disease that was causing all that. And this sounds terrible, but on Thursday afternoon, my wife came home from work. She said she just was sitting in front of her computer, not able to do a thing. She came home and went right to bed. I unfortunately given her the cold, but she had the same symptoms. I mean, yes, it was a cold. It wasn't my condition. So, sorry, I shouldn't have been that happy she got it, but it made me feel better. So anyway, she's still coughing really badly, but I'm getting over mine, so nothing with it. Okay, so anyway, here's the reason I'm telling you that. My phone messages are overflowing. I don't even know if you can leave it anymore. So please don't leave me a phone message. Monday through Thursday, I'm in class most of the day. I'll tell you my office hours, but only call during office hours. And if you don't get me, don't leave a message, because I don't know what year I'll get to it. Just hang up and call back during my office hours. Give me 15 minutes, or maybe in the restroom or something. So maybe down the hall, but yeah. So please just don't even bother with the voice message here. And that's only good Monday through Thursday. Here's my email address. And guess what? My emails are way behind on those too, but I can catch up on those easier than I can phone messages. Now on Fridays, I'm over on the Birmingham campus, B122. There's the phone number there. Do not ever leave me a voicemail there, because that's not my office. It's somebody else's office. She's there. She's a grant coordinator. She's only there Monday through Thursday, so I use that office on Friday. So if you leave a message there, she's going to get it and say, trash, trash, trash. I'll never hear that. I can't access it. Okay. So please don't leave me a voice message anywhere, but especially on that number. That's where I'm on Fridays. Now, let me tell you my office hours here. On Mondays and Wednesdays, I have an 8:30 intermediate college algebra class in this room, followed by a Calculus 2 class in this room, and that's followed by a Calculus 3 class in the room. So I'm not in the office all until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? So I'm in class from 8:30 till 2 with some short breaks, but not enough to do much. So from 2 to 6, I'm usually here at least until 6 o'clock, just about every day. So, one exception there. So 2 to 6 on Mondays. So if you do need to see me in the office or call me, that's the time to do it. Okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays, even worse. Okay, I have the 8:30 pre-calculus algebra down the hall. This one at 10. So this class gets over with at 11:15. So from 11:15 until 1:15, I'm in the office. I did have a linear algebra class right after this one, but it only had 2 students, only one of them was paid, and they canceled it yesterday. So that gives me a little break on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So 11:15 to 1:15. Then at 1:15, I have a physical science class back in this room. That is a mini-term class, which means that we're in class from 1:15 to 3:45, and then in lab from 3:45 to 5:45, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So basically, Tuesday and Thursday, the only times I'm in the office are 11:15 to 1:15. Now, I usually eat lunch at the same time, but I usually bring my lunch and I eat in my office, so you can still come see me or call me. I'll be there. Maybe there with multiple food, but it'll be fine. Okay, Wednesdays are just like Mondays in my classes. The only difference is I have a third class on Wednesday that starts at 4:30 on the Birmingham East Campus. So I have to leave here by 4 o'clock to get over there by 4:30. So my office hours on Wednesdays are 2 to 4. Monday 2 to 6, Wednesday 2 to 4. I already told you Thursday. Now Friday on the Birmingham campus, Birmingham West campus, that's at B122. I'm usually there. This is going to change. It's going to be 8 to 12. Okay, because I told you they moved back classes and made them later, so I'm going to come in at 8 rather than 7:45. Okay. Now I'm usually there past 12, and I'm most of the time there before 8. But I'm only supposed to list 4 hours on Friday, so that's not 4 hours on Friday. Okay, let's get to the actual course now. That's me. Here's the course. This is the course description, and guess what? I didn't make this up. Okay. This is something that came up with by committee of the two-year college folks plus the Alabama public four-year colleges and universities. And they said, if we do this, they give you credit for it. So here's the course description. The course includes the study of trigonometric, which they call circular functions, and inverse trigonometric functions. Includes extensive work with trigonometric identities and trigonometric equations. The course also covers vectors, complex numbers, de Moivre's theorem, and polar coordinates. Additional topics may include conic section sequences and using matrices to solve. Guess what? We never get that. So forget about that last sentence. I can't take it out. We're not going to get that. Additional topics, no. We may not get all the others, but we'll head that way pretty well. Okay? And we'll go over where you'll find that. Okay? Prerequisite and co-requisites. There's all this stuff about high school stuff. Basically, if you made a C or higher in Math 112, you're in the right place. Or if you scored for Math 113, which I've had that happen a few times, you're in the right place. Everybody in the right place. Right? Okay. Co-requisite, there's none. Okay? Now, I don't, in fact, I do need to wait just a moment here. Yeah, I missed it. The lady that was teaching next door stoned on me. I loaned her my book so she could teach pre-calculus this summer because I wasn't teaching it this summer, and she forgot to return it to me. And she was in that room right before this class, and I forgot to ask her about it. That's why I had to check this in. So I don't have a copy of my book now. Does anyone have a copy of it on it? You don't. What's that? Okay. Do most of you just have the e-books, or do you actually have a physical book? Neither one?
Do we have to get the e-books?
What's that?
Do we have to get e-books?
You don't have to. Okay. Okay. Time out on the books for a minute. Did any of y'all have 112?
Yes. No.
Okay. Did you get rid of your book?
No.
Oh, you still got it?
I still got my book.
Same book. Okay?
Because like when I read for your class, it was talking about some book online. It was like talking about a book. It was like $93.
Okay.
Like it was a tab, and it was like click the link for the textbook, and it just showed like we keep it in the books or how much it was.
Okay. Okay. I wish I could show you a copy of it. I don't have it with me. But it's the same book you use for pre-calculus algebra. Now, or some of you didn't take pre-calculus algebra here at Lawson? You did not? Okay. Did you score for here, or do you transfer in, or what?
I don't have to take the pre-test. They just did all that stuff in ACT.
You just, yeah, because of ACT, you were in 113. Fantastic. Okay. Same thing. Okay, good. Way to go. So I'll have my book, I hope, next time. So anyway, it's the same book as before. But let me talk a little bit more about the book later. But that's why I pause now. So all of you are in the right place. So here's the textbook. And let me scroll this up so it's easier for you to read. All right. The name of it is Pre-Calculus. It's 10th edition. It's a Cengage, a Brooke Cengage book, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Generally, I do not like Brooks Cole Cengage. Okay, they used to be the highest price, and they were no better than many of the others. In fact, some of the things I didn't like as well. But I ran into this author, Ron Larson, the best math author I have ever taught from. So I did not object at all when they wanted to go with this book. And that's why I wish one of you had one in here I would show you. Let me just see if Dr. Brown has it. All right. This is good off the back here. show you on the cover of it, it says pre-calculus, blah, 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 and then it says with, or something like this, calcchat.com and calcu.com. Now, those are strange sounding things. What are those? Those are free websites that accompany the text. Okay? Now, in the text, at the end of every section, there's exercises. And I always assign some of the odd number exercises. There's two reasons I assign odd number exercises. First reason, the answers are in the back. So therefore, when you're doing the exercises, get an answer, check the back, you got it right, figure you did well, go on to the next one. Now, if you didn't get it right, same answer as the one in the back, then go back and sort of figure out what did I do wrong. If you can figure that out, you've mastered the material, go on to the next. If you say, I don't have a clue why this isn't the right answer, it seems like it is to me, then you can go to calcchat.com, a free website, and he's worked out every odd number exercise there. Every one of the odd number exercises, okay? Worked out solutions, tutorial help, that kind of stuff. Can you ask for more than that? Well, they gave it. Certain ones of those odd number exercises, and I'll point out which one every time we make an assignment, they go into even more detail and have a full-fledged tutorial on that type of problem. Wow. Okay? But not only that, he doesn't advertise this, but he also has another free website called LarsonPrecalculus.com. And he has lots of information in the book, and it'll have little blurbs on it. Say, see LarsonPrecalculus.com for worked out detail, for more detail on this. So he has 3 absolutely free websites that support the course. You could ask for anything more. I mean, wow, it's great. So that's why I like Ron Larson. Okay? It is a 2018 text, meaning they're probably not going to go to a new edition for at least 2 or 3 more years, maybe 3 or 4 more years. So the book is good for a while. Please bring paper to class. We will do in some graphs, so if you like to have your own graph paper, you might bring that too. It's mostly not the first chapter. Well, you might need it even. And pencils. Now, you can use ink if you want to. I'll make a confession now, sorry. Okay? When I do math, and you'll see this in living color, I tend to make errors. Okay? So therefore, I like to use pencils so it's not blobs all over the page. But if you like ink and don't mind blobs, that's fine with me. Okay. It says software here, TI. You don't have to have that. You might find it useful because we'll be graphing trigonometric functions and variations on that, and it will be a helpful thing to have, but it's not absolutely necessary. And every time I do a book order, I also include that on the book order so that the bookstore, if you want to buy it through the bookstore and use your Pell money or whatever, you can use that. But you can always find it cheaper elsewhere. But you can't use Pell money there. All right, so let's go back to the text. Like I said, it's a Cengage text. This year, there's so many things that new this year. Number one, we're starting later. Okay. Big news. Do you want to hear the reason I think we're doing that? I think the deans don't like to get here early, and instructors have to be here early, and then they can't tell what time we get here. So, no. But anyway, they're the ones that sort of push that. They said it was us, but I really think it was them. Never mind. Okay. But the other really big, there's something else that doesn't pertain to y'all too much. Really big news is something that, like I said, Cengage used to be the most expensive publisher that I saw, and I thought they ripped off the students badly. And they would have all these things they would sell us on, and then they changed the story once we adopted them, and it really irritated me. But the people at the school loved it for some reason. Well, Cengage did come up with something that other publishers haven't done yet. I'm sure they're going to follow. And it's called Cengage Unlimited. Is that what you've heard about? Okay. For $119, you can get, for this term only, free access, not free, it's $119, access to every Cengage book that any of your classmates if you're taking more classes and they have Cengage books, that 119 pays for them all. And it's only an ebook. If you do want a paper copy and you paid the $119, for a mere $8 more, you can get a paper copy. If you like having a paper copy. Now, for those of you who don't have really good internet and stuff like that at home, and you want it at home, that's not a bad idea. I mean, $8, it's not $8, but that's only a rental. It goes back to them at the end of the term. So, but you probably won't need this book past the end of the term. Okay. But every other subject, psychology, child development, physics, whatever, if it's a Cengage book, you get it under that. Okay. Now, if you want to do it for 2 terms, if you know you're going to be here 2 terms, it's a little bit cheaper per term if you do the 179 or something like that. It's less than twice 1,819, but you can do that. If you are going to be here 2 years, you can get a 2-year package. It's even cheaper than that, but you only pay it once, and you have Cengage books for the duration. So the bookstore is where you got that. They have all that information down there, don't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and if you want the paper copy, you can check with them on that too. Okay. So that's enough. I'll put all that information. I mean, it's like an advertisement for Cengage. It sort of nauseates me, but it's I'll put all that out there on Blackboard once I update this. Okay, Blackboard. I'm sorry, on my syllabus, and it will be in Blackboard. Are most of you familiar with Blackboard, or any of you brand new at Blackboard? Everybody you're new at it? Okay. Have you been given an email address yet? What's that? Oh, you have signed in on Blackboard. Okay. You'll find nothing from this course out there yet, because I just found out it probably will make today. Okay. So, I don't like this thing, but they don't let us change it. It used to say all students must use Blackboard, which makes sort of sense, but they changed it to all courses must use Blackboard, which sort of makes sense, to gain access to vital course information. Well, no, that doesn't make sense for courses, such as the syllabus, handout, blah, blah, blah. So I won't argue about those things, but it's just sort of dumb. Okay. I will, once I've got the syllabus updated, I'll put it on Blackboard. Now, where does it go in Blackboard? When you go to this course in Blackboard, you'll see there's on the upper left-hand corner, there's a whole series of blue tabs, or at least on the instructor edition, they're blue. And they actually scroll down to get to the bottom of them, okay? But before you don't have to scroll down, usually. There's one down here that says course handouts and more with an exclamation point. Really exciting. It used to say content. That made a lot of sense. But though they changed it to course handouts and more, that's where I put everything. There's nothing there now, but it will be. Your syllabus will be there. The research paper instructions, we're going to get to that later. My locator card, which shows when I'm on campus, when I'm off campus, which campus I'm on, when I'm in class, when I'm in the office, all that information will be on the locator card. I also put all my PowerPoint, and Ron Larson has great PowerPoints. Now, they don't match up exactly because the CD they sent with the 9th edition, they didn't send one with the 10th edition, so I don't have that. So, very little has changed. Very little has changed. So those will be the PowerPoints, and they will be in static form. You can look at them ahead of time, print them off, take notes on them, whatever you want to do with them. Okay. Now, because I record all my classes and I teach from the PowerPoints, you'll also have them again there, because you see these at the end of every class I'll upload to YouTube. And when they get into YouTube, then I put them on the playlist. And in Blackboard, I'll have a link to the playlist. So you can see all the things there later. Okay? They won't be there immediately. It takes a few hours to upload and then for me to have time to upload and stuff like that. And it's not there yet. I'll have that link there later. Now let me tell you about that since I'm on to that. I don't clear that out every term. So right now, in that playlist, you don't have access to it yet, but in that playlist, everything from the last term is there, okay? And so when I start to do, like today is the syllabus, I'll name today's syllabus. And so when I put that on Blackboard, on the YouTube, I'll delete the syllabus from last time. And then when we do the next class, we'll do it here, I'll delete it from last time. They always load the new stuff at the bottom, so the stuff that you see at the top is from last term. So if you want to look ahead at things we're going to be doing, it's there, okay? But if you want what we're done now, go to the bottom of the playlist, okay? And that way it keeps cycling through properly. Okay. So that's going to be, so your PowerPoint will be static under, of course, handouts and more, and also be dynamic. You'll hear me talk, you'll see me write, we'll do the PowerPoints again, and that way it'll be in a dynamic fashion, and you'll see that in the YouTube, which is also linked to Blackboard, okay? Now, handouts, most of the time if I have a handout, I won't hand it out to you, okay? So I don't put them on Blackboard usually, okay? Activities, what activities? Sometimes the school posts activities, so check Blackboard for that as well. Assignments, I will put your research paper assignment out there. It's not there yet, but I will put it out there, and we'll go over it today. Hopefully we'll get to it today, so that'll be there. Now, your other assignments will also kind of be on Blackboard. They will be on Blackboard, but I don't type them in and say, this is your assignment for today, okay? What I do is on the YouTube video, when we finish a section, I'll say, here's your homework assignments for that section. Or when we finish a class, if we haven't finished the section, okay, here are the homework assignments for that. It'll be verbal, okay? So you'll have to go through the YouTube video to hear the assignments. They will be on Blackboard, technically on Blackboard, but I don't type them out and say, here's what you got to do this week. Okay. Most people do, I don't. Okay. All right. Okay. Announcements. Most of the time I will not have any announcements. If I have announcements, I'll let you know ahead of time. If something does come up suddenly, the odds are I'm not going to have a chance to get the announcement page there. But I will tell you this announcement right now. I don't have it for sure. Some Tuesday in October, okay? And when it gets closer, I'll tell you which Tuesday it is. I have a doctor's appointment. My hematologist, the one I see for the stuff, only sees patients on Tuesday mornings, okay? It's the only time he sees patients. So I know his appointment is sometime on a Tuesday morning in October. As we get closer and I find out the specifics of the time and days and stuff like that, I'll let you know. And I'll probably put that out there, but I'll let you know way ahead of time. So it'll be there on YouTube, okay? So that announcement will be there as well. Okay, I hope not to ever miss any other classes except that one. But if something comes up, it's going to have to be an emergency or something, or else I'm going to be here. Or if something does come up, I'll let you know ahead of time. All right, now I do not like the next sentence, but we won't go into that. I don't like the third sentence either, because it implies you have to check in case it's going to cancel class. And guess what? I've just told you, I'm not going to cancel any class I can possibly avoid canceling. I'm going to be here every day that I can. That one day in October, I know probably I won't be back in time for that. Okay. So let's move on. Now, they used to call these student learning outcomes. Now they've changed it to professional competency objectives. It's just like it was a junior high, now it's a middle school. Well, it was a middle school, now it's a junior high. Well, it was a junior high, now it's a middle school. They just changed names to make it sound like they've done something. Student purpose, learning outcomes. Student will identify trigonometric functions and relations between them using the unit circle. That's in chapter 4. Okay? Identify trigonometric functions and use the trigonometric laws using trigonometry of right triangles. That's in chapter 4. Analyze trigonometric identities. That's chapter 5. Solve trigonometric equations using inverse trigonometric functions. That's in 4 and a little bit in 5. Okay? Plot complex numbers using trigonometric principles and the Morgan theorem. That's in chapter 6. use polar coordinates and operate with vectors. That's in chapter 6. Write a library or internet-based research application paper on some topic in trigonometry. That's your research. That's your writing competency. Okay? And then we'll have a final exam, a comprehensive final exam, which will be your overall competency. Okay. Now, notice here chapter 4 says tests. Chapter 4 is a long chapter. It has 8 sections in it. So after the first 4 sections, I'll give you a test on those 4. And then after the next 4, you'll have a second test in chapter 4. So the first bit of stuff up there is usually in the first test. The next bit about trigonometric equations and things like that, and other stuff, that's in the second part of chapter 4. Identities is in chapter 5. No, I'm sorry. The graphing is in the second part of chapter 4. And identities is in chapter 5. And polar coordinates and that kind of stuff. Vectors and that kind of is in chapter 6. Okay? When you get your book, you'll see that. That's the deal. All right. How do I evaluate you then? Okay? I think it'll be fair to move on down. I guess I ought to ask this question first. Y'all have a preference, in-class test or take-home test?
Take-home test.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. I never would have seen that coming. No, I'm figuring you might. For a small class like this, and some of these tests, especially those graphing tests, they take a long time. So I really prefer doing take-home tests. So you will have a take-home test there. So and that's why you don't see any quizzes, because usually my quizzes are take-home. But if your test's going to be take-home, what's the point of having a quiz? Okay, so here, I think it's a wasted sentence, this first sentence, but they say we're not supposed to change it. Research paper is required for the class. Now notice it said required, not optional, not droppable, it's required. It will be counted as a test score that cannot be dropped. Okay? Research paper is required. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The test will be given at the midpoint of chapter 4 and at the end of every chapter, 4, 5, and 6. So you have 4 tests. The lowest chapter test score may be dropped. Now, why do I say may and not will? I'll drop it if it helps your average. But if you don't turn in the research paper and you do really poorly on that, have really good test scores, then you might need every test score you can to bring up that 0 or low 4 on your paper. Same thing, yes.
How heavily do you grade the research paper?
How what?
How heavily do you grade the research paper?
Oh, I mean, like up there. No, I mean, no, I'm pretty moderate on that. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And the whole assignment thing. And if you have questions, then ask me again. Okay. We're going to go over that in just a minute. Okay. So I only drop the lowest chapter test score if it helps you. The paper will be averaged through the remaining test scores and the comprehensive final exam. Now, here, let me tell you how this has worked, I think, just about every time I've taught the course. Okay? Remember, you got 3 chapters, but one of those chapters is really long. The other 2 are pretty long, too, but the one is really long. So basically, usually, at the end of the term, we're still in chapter 6. Okay? So there's not time for you to have a take-home test that I can get back to you, and then the final again. So what I usually do is the final exam is in 2 parts. The first part is a chapter 6 test, and the second part is the comprehensive part. The chapter 6 part may be dropped, the comprehensive can't be dropped. Okay? So usually that last chapter 6 test and the final, I give you the last day of class, and you have 5 weeks to turn it in. Okay? So the comprehensive final exam cannot be dropped. It will count as 1 chapter test, because normally it would be a 2-hour test, but because it's at the end of the term, you got 2 of them to do, I give you very short chapter 6 test and a very short comprehensive test. They add up to 1 regular test. They count separately. And then they put in this thing about plagiarism, which is true. Now, here's how to break down, and I've got to fix the thing because I've got to add all this in. This won't be page break there like it is. 90s are A's, 80s are B's, 70s are C's, 60s are D's, don't go there. Anything below a 60 is an F, don't go there, okay? And here's why I say that. These are the only three passing scores. If you're new to Lawson, D is not a passing score, but it's not a failing score. It's a no man's land. If you make a D in a course, you have to repeat the course, okay? It doesn't hurt you as bad as an F does, because an F drops your grade point more than a D. F, you get 0 quality points. D, you get 1. C, you get 2. B, 3, and A, 4. So you get 4.0. Okay. So a D will hurt your grade point average. F hurts it worse. But both D's, C's, and D's are non-passing. D's and F's are non-passing. F is failure. Okay. But you have to repeat a D as well. Okay. Now, I need to correct this. This is what was written by, I think I know who. Obviously, you didn't understand math. I've got to change this because this makes no sense. The instructor rounds grades upward, okay, i.e. in the student's favor, never downward. But then look at the person's example. For example, a 79.5 will round up to an 80. Of course it would, okay, a B. But a 79.4 would remain a C. Well, isn't that rounding downward? I mean, it's not always rounding upward, you know. If you always rounded up, that would be it. And that's just not how you do it, you know. So I'll change the wording here. I'll put it, the instructor rounds normally. That a 0.5 moves it up, a 0.4 or less moves it down. I mean, you just have what you have. So this part is true. This doesn't make sense with what we say here. So I'll make it consistent. Because guess what? I'm dropping your lowest test scores. That's going to be any bump you need. Okay? If that's not enough bump, it's not enough bump. But you know, I don't then round up again. Okay. So sorry about that. I thought I had changed it on lazy. I forgot. So let's look at attendance. Okay? Obviously, we're missing 3 people today, but it's great that y'all are here. Hopefully, those 3 will show up in time. Please try to be here every time. Yeah, I do record all the classes, but guess what? The screencast-o-matic, surprisingly, it was either in the summer or last spring, it wouldn't come up. And I found out they hadn't renewed the contract. That wasn't me, that was someone in administration. After a few classes, they did get it back up. For those few classes, there were no screencast-o-matics. There were no PowerPoint from this term. But guess what? I had the ones from last term, so I left those up there. Okay? May not have started at the same place or ended at the same place, but I left them up there so you could have something there. So there may be gaps. Okay? Guess what? Sometimes the whole system goes down, as in the supercomputer up in Huntsville that we use. It goes down, and guess what? You can't access it anyway. So if you miss class, you may miss everything, because no guarantee that it was recorded. I'll have out there what we had last time, but again, you may have some gaps in it. So try to be here every day, okay? And it talks about all what you need to do. Withdrawals. Now let's go back. If any of you are on financial aid of any nature whatsoever, that could be Pell Grant, VA, there's lots of other things out there. Most of the time, I can't say it for all of them, but most of the time, they will pay for a class the second time. Okay, they'll pay for it the first time, and but usually they will not pay for it a third time. So guess what? If you make a D in a class, you've got to repeat it. They'll pay for it the second time. But if you withdraw then, after you made a D the first time, withdraw the next time, they will not pay for it the next time. Okay, so here's what my suggestion is on withdrawal. If it looks like you are going to make a D or an F, there's just no way you can pull your grade up to a C in a course, the best thing to do is withdraw. Why is that? Well, you're going to have to repeat a D, you're going to have to repeat an F, you're going to have to repeat a withdrawal. Whether it's paid for or not, you're going to have to do it. A D pulls down your grade point average a little bit. An F pulls it down big time. A W does not change your grade. It does not affect your grade point average at all. So a W is always better than a D or an F. It's equivalent in that you don't get any credit for the course, but it's better in that it doesn't pull down your grade point average. Now, if you're one of these people that I insist on getting A in the course, so I'm going to repeat the course so I can get an A rather than this B or a C, then that's up to you. I'm not going to get into that. But if you're going to make it C or a D or an F, or it doesn't look like any way around it, I would say withdrawal is the better thing to do. Now, it talks all about this, and it says, can prohibit progression in nursing allied to negatively affect your financial aid status, but guess what? A D and an F is going to do the same thing. The same thing as far as putting you out of sequence, affecting your financial aid, same impact. It just doesn't have an impact on your grade point average. So go with the withdrawal rather than D or F. Make-up work, now that sort of doesn't make a lot of sense when it's a take-home test. I mean, how do you make up the take-home test? I mean, you just turn it in, okay, whenever you can. Now let me say this about the take-home test, though. I'll give it to you, and I'll always want you to shoot for getting back to me within a week. You don't have to, but that's what the target is. And why a week? 2 reasons. One reason, there's always one day in between, one class day in between, that you get to ask a question. Like you take that home and say, what in the world are you asking about in this problem? Or, anything like that. Here's a question I will not answer. Well, I will answer it, but you won't like it. Can you do number 7? My answer is going to be yes, I can, but I'm not, because that's the test. That's what I'm grading you on, okay? But here would be a very legitimate question. Could you do number 45 in section 4.3? Sure, I'll be glad to, okay? Find a question in your homework that was similar to the test question. I'll do any of those, okay? But I will not do a test question. So it gives you an opportunity to ask questions to find out what it is, if you've forgotten how to do that, that can help you with that. Here's the second reason I give you a week. Always have a weekend to work on it. Because some of you may work during the week, or you may have family situations, or you may have other things. Maybe the weekend is the only time you have a good, solid period of time to work on it. That you always give you a weekend. Now, here's the other thing. I'm really lenient. Okay, if you need more than a week, I want you to take more than a week. But here's what I don't want. I don't want test 3 coming up and you haven't turned in test 2. You need to get test 2 in before I hand out test 3. Is it just because I don't want all those tests piled up on me to grade at the same time? Well, that's a little bit of it. But the big, you don't be not checking your head yet. No, the bigger reason is if you're missing some concept from test 1, you're going to be using it again on test 2. And if you haven't turned in test 1, you're not going to know you got it wrong. Okay? So please get it done before I give you the next test. Always. Okay? So, it's the closest thing to make up work. Okay, lateness, like I said before, I'm coming from down the hall, having to move all my stuff down here. I'll try to be here at 10 o'clock every morning, but especially if I have a lot of questions in that class, or on test days in that class. They have in-class tests in that class. On test days, I may not be here right at 10, okay? But I'm going to try to start every class at 10. I'll try to get set up. You see, I got to bring everything down and reset it up, which is a pain. Now, they've recently added these sections on academic integrity. Oh boy, that sounds exciting, doesn't it? Okay. And they do some things here they already talked about before, but they do them again. Too much. Okay. I'll let you read these things. They're going to be out here on the YouTube video. Plagiarism, don't go there. Cheating, don't go there. Okay? And all this stuff is done in gory detail, and I don't want to read all this to you. This part is really good. Personal decorum. That's well worth reading in class, isn't it? But you know the things not to do. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Y'all advanced students, you don't. But they're here. You know what runs society these days? Litigation. Okay? So if they put them out here and say you can't do it, and then something comes up and someone complains and does a lawsuit, then they can say, no, we put it in the syllabus. It's ridiculous, but it's here. Okay. So, course concerns, if you really feel like you're not getting a fair shake in the course, see me. Come see me. We'll talk about it. And then if you don't get adequate solution from me, go to the department chair. Oh, that's me. Okay. We'll go through it again. I'll be glad to. And then if you still don't, then I'll escort you to Dr. Pruitt. He's my immediate boss. He's the assistant dean. We'll go to the dean. We'll do whatever it takes. So you have plenty of avenues to do. But go through the chain the way it's supposed to. Boston State website tells you more about that. Now, the statement on discrimination and harassment, this is pretty important stuff, so I want to take a little more time with that. I think we figured it out. I've been here on this campus teaching for at least 21 years. I think I'm starting my 22nd year now. And frankly, I have seen almost nothing that I would classify as discrimination or harassment. Now, that doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but it sure hasn't happened in front of me. And most of the time, someone's not going to do it in front of me. So here's something I want to ask you. If you see or even sense, get an idea that there's any of this going on, and I include in this, I think it fits there nicely, bullying of any nature whatsoever, please let us know, because we don't want it to happen here. We want this to be a place where everybody feels safe and able to learn to the top of their ability. Okay? So please, we don't want it to happen here. So let us know. We'll give everybody a fair shake. The closest thing, and this isn't anywhere close to this, but I'll just give you an example. It was one of the first few years I was teaching here. I was tasked with teaching the automotive students. We have a great automotive program here. We have Ford, Toyota, and GM all have special programs here, and they put out really good mechanics, really good. It's a career tech area. Now, a lot of these kids are coming right out of high school. Yeah, you may be right out of high school, but most of them are, and generally they didn't really like high school too much, especially the academic side. And you know, some of them were really good on the academic side. They just really love working on cars. Okay, and that's exactly what they want in the program. But a few times, every now and then, we'll get some kid that the daddy's making him come to college. So, well, I don't want to do that. I'll do auto mechanics. Yeah, that's not like it's fun. And we had one of those kids one time. I didn't realize it. He was in my math class. I knew he wasn't doing all that well in it. And then he didn't show up one day. And generally, they were here every day. And then he didn't show up again. I said, well, what's with him? And they said, oh, you didn't hear. I said, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah, one day at lunch, he just decided to walk over people's cars in the parking lot. You know, jump from car to car to car. And yeah, okay. Not very mature, I'll say that. Someone yanked him off of there, took him to the dean's office. He was there for a number of minutes and stuff, and then he was off campus and never seen again. Okay. That's generally what I picture happening with harassment. That same kind of, yeah, we'll give you a fair shake, you'll have all your due process and everything else, but basically, it's not going, we don't want it to happen here. Okay, Americans with Disabilities. As you've noticed already, I'm hard of hearing, so I'm sort of sensitive to this. We really want to make sure that everybody who has may have some type of disability, that you get a chance to have every opportunity to deal with that. And the new syllabus is going to have a little more detail with this, but it'll all be out there. Dr. Renee Herndon is our specialist on this campus, and she's in charge of the whole program. On the Birmingham campus, it's Ms. Jean McCoy Jones. So get them the information, they will deal with it. Okay? Now, the college calendar obviously is not up to date. This was last spring, the last time I taught the course. I'll update this and get it done. And then when I get all the syllabus done, I'll let you know it'll be on Blackboard. And then if you'll go to this page and either type your name or print it off and sign your name and either email it to me or bring me the copy. And that go? Notice from zippers happening that we're within, 4 minutes of being through? Any questions on the syllabus so far? The bulk of the syllabus is right here. There will be more details in the New York version. Let me at least get it out there so you can see it. And this will be the, come up here. There we go. Research paper. Okay. I'll try to do as much as I can in 4 minutes. You choose your topic. Think about it right now. Start looking. Go through the book or the ebook, whatever you happen to have. It can be a person, a theory, a phenomenon, an application, something that deals with trigonometry. Okay? Anything you want to. Something of interest to you, something in your major, some person you like. Okay? There's tons of possibilities. I love application papers because that shows me where your interest is. And I had a student sat right behind you. He was a forestry major, pre-forestry. He was a Jeff State student, but evidently had trouble with math there. And he lived in McCall or somewhere right up here. So he drove by here every day. He just decided to come take his math here because we didn't have pre-forestry necessarily. But he chose to write his paper on the use of trigonometry in forestry. You think, yeah, right? Well, guess how they estimate lumber? You have a tree standing out there in the field. A forester comes and they'll make a bid on, how much. How many board feet can he get out of that? Well, is he going to put on his little belt and climb the tree and measure how tall it is? I bet not. What's he going to use? A sextant. And get the angle from the base of the tree to the top of the tree, and then use right angle trig, right triangle trig to estimate the height of that tree. That's what they do. So he wrote his paper on the use of trigonometry in forestry. Now, he wasn't a great writer, but it was one of the more interesting papers I had seen. Okay? Now, that's just one really silly example. It may be something not in your field of study. It may be something you're just interested in. Any kind of application phenomenon that has anything to do with trig. I love to see that. Or it can be an internet application or demonstration, like a YouTube video. You may read what they say in the book, and you go, huh? And then you hear me describe it, and you say, huh? But then you find this YouTube video and say, oh, that's what they meant. Okay, yeah, I want to hear about that, okay? I want to know what we're saying that didn't make sense to you and how this did a better job. So guess what? You can write on a YouTube video or internet thing that you found useful, any way useful in any one of the topics in the course. Okay? How are we doing? Oh, 1 more minute. Okay. So what I want you to do this week, if possible, next week at the very latest, is on a piece of paper, write your name. That's going to be really hard, isn't it? Okay, and then write the topic that at least right now you're thinking of doing. I want you thinking about it now. Start looking through the book, thinking ahead, and see if you can pick out a topic. You can always change it if you want to. I want to get you moving in that direction. Now, since that's going to waste a whole sheet of paper, here's something else you can give me, but you don't need to. It has nothing to do with the paper. But it does happen occasionally, maybe once every year or two, that I'll get a panic phone call or someone actually coming to my door and saying, this is so it's in your tree class. We need to get in touch with them right away, and the numbers in the system, they're just not working. Because that's what someone may have transposed 2 digits, or maybe that number changed and you never updated it. So if you want to give me your very best phone number, you can. I don't need it, but sometimes I might need it, okay? I'm never going to give that to a student. It's only going to be an official of the college. If there's some sort of thing that's happened, they've got to get in touch with you. If you want to give me that number, you can. Because they're going to come to us. They always come to the instructors. Oh, do you have this information? Okay. So if you want to give it to you can. Now, if that very best phone number is a cell phone, which I bet it's going to be for most of you, then if there's a chance that the battery may have died, the cell phone may have died. It got run over by a truck. It got left at home. Someone stole it. It was in your backpack, and your backpack got stolen. There's a chance that may not be able to get you that way if you want to give a good backup number. maybe mama's landline or something like that. If you want to, you can. I don't need it, but if you want to, you can get it. Or, and I had a student in the class yesterday that worked and worked. And some jobs don't like you to have cell numbers, okay? Don't like you to use your cell phone at work. So if that's the case, and you can take incoming calls, especially if they're emergency, and you want to give me your work number in case of emergency, that's the only way it's going to be being called, then you can give me your work. I don't need any more than 3 that I can think of, and I don't even need any of them. You can give me 0, 1, 2, or 3 phone numbers in addition to your thing. I'll hang on to them at the end of the class. Once you turn in your paper and you're no longer in my class, they're going to get shredded, okay? I don't let them hanging around too long. So if you will do that, okay? You want to just read the rest of this on YouTube when you get a chance? You want me to finish talking about it next time?
YouTube.
Huh? I can't hear. YouTube. Okay. I will point out one more thing, and that's this. I do require a page from a source. Talked earlier, 1 or more sources. Your book is not a source, but I do require a page from a source when you turn in your paper. Just if it's a book or journal from the library, take it over to the copier, copy me a page. Something you pull off the internet. 1 page. I don't need the whole journal article. I don't need the whole newspaper article or anything else. I just need a single page from one of the sources. I did want to say that because a lot of people forget to do that. All right, so you're going to read the rest of it on YouTube. Next time we'll start with safety. And then once we do safety, we'll be ready for training.
See you later.
All right, take care. Sorry we got started late.
Hey, I'm coming from the Birmingham campus for this class, so if I'm a few minutes late, that's why.
Okay, no problem, yeah. And I record the stuff anyway, so if you're more than a few, you can pick up that.
All right, thank you.
Let me just ask a dumb question. Are you a baseball player?
Yes.
I thought you might be.
Yeah,
What you play?
Play outfield.
Outfield, good.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we shouldn't have any games this fall.
Yeah.
They interfere with class.
It seems like toward the end of the fall, y'all start doing a few travel things, don't you?
We
Is that
play
spring?
probably starting in September, but it's over by the end of October.
Okay.
And it's always on Saturdays. So
Oh, I see. Okay.
we're good.
All right. Well,
Because
good
if
deal.
I had this in the spring, then yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a lot. Yeah, I've had several baseball players before,
Yeah.
and we always run into that. So,
Yeah.
good deal.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Later.